Welcome to Akhand Vidyashram, the first institute of impeccable wisdom. Let's discuss what Karma Yoga, the ideas, thoughts, and actions of the perfect nature to be perfectly in tune with universal consciousness. And this is the fundamental divine design of the wisdom. Our no A to Z has to be based on your thoughts, actions only. Without a perfect, impeccable wisdom of your thoughts, ideas, which are action, you cannot proceed at all. The foundation is definitely Karma Yoga, Dharma Yoga, and that's it. Now, let me start with the definition what we see of Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is a path of performing actions without attachment to their results as taught in the Holy Gita. It is not about renouncing work, but almost changing one's attitude to perform duties with dedication and devotion as a form of service to the divine, which helps achieve liberation and inner peace. I totally agree with both the definitions as such. The key is to focus on performance of action itself and dedicate the result to a higher purpose rather than seeking personal gain. Even third concept is absolutely clear. As long as we are dedicated to divine nature, we are doing all the thoughts, actions, other things in the service of humanity for the benefit of everybody. That is a perfect Karma Yoga. And we should not worry about the results at all, because one thing which I have done from my childhood till today, if your thoughts are good, your ideas are good, actions are good, results are going to be phenomenal. Instead of wasting time on calculating the results, you spend the same time and the quality of work, you will be much more successful. So one lesson which I have learned from childhood till today is, don't worry about fruits. Fruits are going to come to only your results of your thoughts, action and ideas only. Don't waste on calculating it. You will get it come what may be. Because there is a divine law, the karma dharma goes side by side. Now let me start with a very amazing reincarnation theory. Yada yada hi dharmasti glani bhavati bharat. This particular shlok I have used again and again and again because I do believe whenever the decline in dharma, righteousness throughout the world, human beings take birth as a divine consciousness to re-establish dharma. Let me make one thing very clear. When I say divine nature, the nature does not take birth as a form of reincarnation at all. There are human beings which are created, designed, evolved together through education, enlightenment, empowerment. They reach higher and higher level. When they reach higher and higher level, they are the one who take decision to take birth again, to make a difference, to re-establish dharma, righteousness. It has to be done by human beings only, not gods and goddesses of Ved, Upanishad at all. That is point which I make it very, very clear. It is the human being who has evolved to a very high level. He takes birth again to re-establish the whole thing. That exactly my point is. Every yuga, every time space has a new divinity. Because you understand things in that particular era much better in the light which the world understands. Today's world is a scientific world. Understand beautiful technology and other things. Today what I'm able to do today, I couldn't have done about 100 years back or 2000 years back or 10,000 years back. But in the light of what was done by me, my soul, in earlier life, I can retranslate the whole thing to this yuga to understand the concept very clear, where I can understand, improve, and help other people also understand things, because the needs of different eras or yugas change depending upon the consciousness of the people and the requirement. Evolution is nothing but based on necessities only. Need based is invention. So you should also have a new language, new mathematics, new clarity as such. If I am able to give the world Devyank in this stage, and no one in the history of mankind had done it before, it speaks the volume that today's world is fit with the equipments technology so high that we can go into much more details than earlier people could go because of lack of that. But each yuga has given its own beautiful thing. That exactly my point is. This is the law of creation, law of karma yoga, dharma yoga and other things. When karma and dharma go side by side to establish the perfection, impeccable wisdom, only with that intention you can go and reach the highest level by and large. And that exactly is in this particular shlok of Gita. Whenever there is a decline, divinity will take in the form of a human form. It could be anyone. And I don't see any difference because all the forms are different. Gods and goddesses have their own beauty, their own consciousness. At particular stage, you can't stand in judgment and you cannot do anything. But as you move on, the people who are going higher and higher, they become like horses and much more powerful. The people who remain back, they only copy things, and maybe somewhere along the line learning to copy and then improving over the period is what is this particular shok all about. Now come to the question of Holy Gita. There are two shloks which are very, very important. Second chapter 47 and 48. These two things are very clear. Incidentally, my villa is based on 247, 248, 249. Now the question is, in this particular shoot, you have a right over work, not on fruits. It's the same thing which was there in definition. You are expected to work conscientiously with dharma, dedication, truth, honesty, otherwise, and don't worry about fruits. Hence, do work without thinking about the fruits, as I told you, is required because you don't waste time. You be a karma yogi, karma yogi, karma yogi, dharma yogi, sannyasi, otherwise, only the perfection will come. Do not waste time on calculation. I think this is very clear on that particular shlok. Now come to the question, again a version which I am talking about. Do your destined work without wish for awards. Without being awarded with the results will be exemplary. And I make one point very clear since my childhood till today. I have not sought an award, not sought a prize, not sought anything. I have not even gone myself to be wished for a reward, certificate, honor from any source whatsoever. As a matter of fact, even when I was invited, I would not go, because all these recognition in the form of papers, trophies and other things have no relevance at all as far as your higher consciousness is concerned. Moving, having negated all the prizes, awards, recognition by A and Z, all my life of 70 odd years has given me a thing that you move on much better without seeking any awards. As a matter of fact, all my students, my teachers, everybody says, in your office, in your house, there is not a single trophy, there is not even a single certificate at all, as if nobody even knows you. Yes, there is no need for anybody to know me because I am here for my own improvement, impeccable wisdom. Let me do my job. What do I do with talking about these awards and records and other things? They are perishable, they came with this, and we get bonded with that. As a result, it doesn't let you go. Having too much of money is a problem, too much of recognition is a problem, too much of popularity is a problem. Everything in abundance, which is more than required, is a problem. You need money so that you can do perfect things, and that way I am rich enough to do whatever I want. I don't have to take money from anybody, and through thoughts, action only I earn by myself. I use it for myself and also to give others. I don't take from others and done with. That is tyag which I talked about. That is virag, I talked about it. That is sannyas, I talked about it. That is also Dvaita philosophy, Advaita philosophy as a Traita philosophy in the process. Keeping that in mind, what is important is be focused on your thoughts which are free from all the defects. Go to impeccable wisdom. Then your thoughts, action should be towards to manifest the highest thing. Stages by stages it happens. Nothing happens without time. No wonder over a period I have been able to reach the level which has not been done by anybody. because I'm not at all bonded with anything. I don't want anybody to see me. I don't want anybody to recognize me. I don't want anybody to know about it, because people have to go on their own education, their own experiences, subjective, objective, otherwise. Being recognized is a big bond. Being leave it at that. Now come to the question of 248. Perform your duties steadfastly without attachment to success and failure. It's the same supplement of 47 to 48. You do your work regularly, consistently, otherwise, and don't worry about success and failure. It's a part and parcel. When your failure comes, only then you recognize this is the recognition to find which is wrong and right is the human quality by and large. And eliminating all the defects is what yoga is all about, and that is karma yoga, that is jnana yoga, that is vigyan yoga, pragyan yoga, and akhand yoga by and large takes you higher and higher to the divine mathematics, divine physics, divine chemistry, divine biology, and divine medical sciences, only through elimination of all the defects. That is 248. This equanimity is called yoga, and I totally agree. Only a perfect human being who are in tune with universal consciousness, is united with perfection, with impeccable wisdom, is the only one who can call himself a yogi. Otherwise, you are not a yogi at all. But I go against all those people who say you have joined a school of yoga, so you are yoga. Yoga and becoming a yogi, it takes years and years of hard work to eliminate all the defects by and large, and experience within, and then no wonder I am the first person in the world to produce 8 Hz alpha frequency throughout the brain, left side and brain. You call 16 parts or 64 parts. Only 8 Hz with eyes open, ears open, everything, and with the concentration in the head. And nobody has done, because they have bonded with many things which give them only 10.5 Hz from posterior brain and the sensory component. When the eyes are closed, mind is rest. Motor and intermittent autonomic nervous system does not show any alpha at all. I think that is real yoga, and that is akhand yoga, and that happens only when you move on one by one, doing work sincerely, honestly, steadfastly, continuously, coherently, with impeccable wisdom. Now come to the question of another Bhagavad Gita state, chapter 3, 9. Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu. I would not go for this translation because there is no Vishnu name used in this particular shlok. But many people who come from Vaishnavite culture, they make the thing look like as if whole thing is Vishnu, Vishnu, Vishnu only. And Gita but does not talk of Vishnu. So Yadarth, work you do sincerely. And don't be bonded with the work as such. Perform duties otherwise without material world. And this is something again what other translations say I do not agree with, because the material world is also reality. You have to understand that matter, material is as important as soul. Spiritual people say higher is the truth, down is thing, and science says down is the truth, higher is this. But both the thing put together is, that is exactly what Gita is talking about. Understand work, both the side, up and down, both are great. And don't be attached to this, don't be attached to that. Even be attached to this spirituality at the expense of material world is also defective. Have a balance of both, and that is tyag, that is vairag, that is sannyas, and that exactly is karma yoga, that is dharma yoga, and that is akhand yoga. So from that, let us say, you do not be bonded, no siddhis by ever, no powers itself, and just enjoy doing your karma without any bondage whatsoever it is. Now come to the question of Karma Yoga is a path of performing actions without attachment to their results. As taught in the Holy Gita, it is not about renouncing work but about changing one's attitude to perform without dedication, and devotion is a form of service to the duties, and that is exactly what I have told. That exactly is what it is, again reaffirming. Now, journeying from many to one. And this is particular Katha Upanishad which talks of the two souls within the human body. One, the Jivatma, the physical body of 100 trillion cells, which depends on atom elements, molecules, compounds, cells, and all the tissues which are matter by and large. And then the soul within that, which you call Antaratma, you call Kundalini, you call Aditya, and which enjoys the fruits without getting involved with it. It gives you the how to do things perfectly. I think that is the consciousness which I am talking about. Once you are clear within that, you will have no problem in moving higher and higher and higher, because your physical body and Antaratma is together as one being itself. That is a beginning concept which Advaita philosophy talks about it. So Karma Yoga, Advaita is one part. Then Traits will give you that even higher self has to be understood by and large. This is where Karma Yoga takes a different form, that you should not think only of yourself, your family, matter world. You think of the entire universe. That is what Sanatana Dharma talks about, Vasudev Kutumbam. You do perfect things for the good of everybody, not individually. Your duty is to perform best, and I think I am privileged to do that. With my devotion to the Karma Yoga and the divinity has helped me to move on conscientiously, step by step, to higher and higher, that I am able to today find fault with the education throughout the world in mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, medical sciences, and then try to rectify, because my intention is to give the education perfectly, and it has come only through Karma Yoga and Dharma Yoga and Satya Yoga only. Now, these are the different pathways which you can take it. You can be a Shudra, mechanical worker, you could be a businessman, you could be administrator, you could also be a Brahmin. All the four different forms are given in this form, and that exactly Karma Yogi has to do thing. And I am glad that I been a part of all the four things. I am a Shudra by myself because I am a very good conscientious worker. I am also a businessman because I also know that also plays important to help the society by and large. And then administrator also you have to do, because somebody has to bring control and somebody has to give education. So all the 4 and 5 put together are the one which Karma Yoga is talking about. Your conscientiousness as an individual worker, as a businessman, as an administrator, as a teacher, researcher, otherwise, when all the four put together are one, you are the perfect human being by and large. Now come to the question of this point which I am going to raise in this particular picture. This picture is very popular, done by ISKCON, but you see the same chariot, Arjuna, Krishna, but you see 4 horses. When I see 4 horses, it doesn't make sense to me. Why it doesn't make sense? Because it is not complete what Katha Upanishad is talking about, what Gita is talking about. Gita is not talking about 4 elements. Gita is talking about 5 elements. And 5 elements are the 5 senses which we have. You can see, you can hear, you can feel, you can smell, you can taste. And all the 5 put together have the reins which are 10 in this. And Arjuna could be a Jivatma. The said chariot is Jivatma, Arjuna could be Antaratma, and Krishna is Brahman. So when all the 3 as a Traita philosophy, you understand Dvaita, Advaita and Traita all together, only then you become one with universal consciousness. You know the physical self, you know the Antaratma, you also know the entire universe. And that is Akhand Yoga which I am talking about. In that should have been 5 horses, not 4 sons. That's a point which I am making. Because I remember in 1983 I ordered for this picture, and I was given a beautiful picture with 4 horses. I did not realize it. But as I started moving with that, from after realization, getting to spirituality in a conscientious way, when I started reading Ved, Upanishad, other thing, I realized it is not 4, it's 5. And that's a picture which I am showing here. Now it is the 5 horses, and 5 horses with the chariot, with the Om and everything, with Arjun and Krishna, is a perfect picture. not 4. That was the point which I was talking about. Now the question is, the greatest Karma Yogi, to my understanding is, Upanishad talk about greatest teacher is Surya, Aditya by and large. And many souls before me have also acknowledged that the greatest teacher is Aditya, Surya, Sun by and large. But I do believe all what I have learnt in my life is only by watching Surya, following steps of Surya, and doing things exactly that the Surya is. For that matter, ever since my childhood, I remember I have to wake up before sun rises. If I don't wake up, I would have the headache throughout the day. So getting up morning 3:30 is a daily feature for me. It automatically happens. So getting up at 3:30 and working for 18 hours in a systematic way like Surya has been my lifestyle. So when you use the time effectively, you do with the discipline, you do things like that. And that is a Karma Yoga, that is thought because you have to be systematic, very comprehensive, very coherent in approach. And that you see only in Surya, because Surya is the one which has changed the whole solar system perfectly. We human beings are living on earth and we are getting A to Z only because Surya. If Surya was not there, we will not get the energy of hydrogen. We will also not get the Antaratma of helium 4. We will also not get the plant kingdom. We will not get oxygen. We will not get carbon. We will not get nitrogen. We will not get sodium, potassium, whatever it. And exactly the Surya light has shown all the 14 elements and atoms, molecules and other things which are required for a perfect human being are produced only because of Surya, number one. So you discipline, you do that, you do, and you learn to give and give, not take. Surya has taught me, if you are a good worker, work hard, earn money, and then share with the world money, name, fame, everything world. Don't take from others, don't be this. That has made my job of Tyag, Virag and Sannyas much more clear, because I have to be like Surya. I can't take money and then give it to somebody else. No. Conscientious worker has to earn and give it. That's one part. Then the time which you go through the 4 phases or 6 phases. You have summer, you have winter, you have rain, you have spring. So it's a systematic, because all the required part of that. So you got to go through different phases because they are the universal designed within that. Once you learn to be perfect from A to Z and don't stand on judgment and learn how to be master of all the 64 arts and sciences, only then you can be a good Karma Yogi. Karma Yogi cannot be based on one subject alone. You cannot say I am a mathematician, I am a this, I am that, another thing. You become a Khand Yogi and Karma Yogi only when you know all the 64 arts, when you have the IQ of 1008 or 1024, whatever it may be. You have the phenomenon, you know A to Z of Ved, Upanishad and all the scriptures so beautifully, the way it is done in nature. I make one thing very clear. Don't go by book knowledge. Go by the knowledge which you see the world doing it. For that matter, when I say Surya is like that, then 7 days, 9 days, other thing. My astronomy, astrology, other thing is the way the nature functions itself systematically, automatically. If the nature can be so perfect, sun could be so perfect, moon could be so perfect, earth could be so perfect, so is the Jupiter, so is the Saturn, so is the Venus, so is Mars. So whole thing is so systematic outside and all within human body. Once you realize the entire universe within you, you become like a Vasudev and you become like a perfect, and that exactly what Surya has taught me, and I am just trying to understand. If the solar system has 10 chakras, 10 heavenly, so is the human body, 10.344. And once I feel the entire universe, Aham Brahmasmi is with me. Whatever the solar system is, what is spiral galaxy, what is Milky Way, what is higher thing, all that knowledge which is there is within the human being. Once you experience that, only then you become a subjective, and then you investigate yourself as an objective from the subjective. Then only you will find that you are moving in the right direction. Maybe that is the reason I am able to produce it, because I experience and I know how to use different atom elements within me to become a good karma yogi within that. Whatever action I do, whatever perfection I will, that is integration, and that is what Akhand yogis are. So from that point of view, let us make it very clear. Karma yoga is learned from Surya how to be disciplined, how to do things, not to worry about fruits, just give, give and give, and forgive, forgive, forget, not get and forget. And once you have the learned from that with tyag, vairag, sannyas, discipline, karma yoga, jnana yoga, vigyan yoga, pragyan yoga, akhand yoga, everything systematic only towards one. Only then step by step you will come to impeccable wisdom of Divyak, the divine design of nature, revealed for the first time in Hinsa 2015. And I think that is where karma yoga becomes very important. Dharma, earth, karma, moksha. I am not talking about kam, I am saying karma. Dharma, earth, karma, moksha. You want to get, you have to do karma properly, you have to do dharma properly, you have to do in arthik nitis properly. That exactly the message is all about. Having said that, I think it's enough for this. And the sum of the entire thing from A to Z of 64 arts and sciences is present in this particular picture very clearly. So carry home message is very clear. Become a conscientious worker, not lazy. Perfect one thing, and be like Surya, be like moon, be like earth, be like the planets, be like all the objects of the universe, including spiral galaxy, Milky Way, and even Dhruv and other things. Even pole star, entire universe is consistent. So whenever in doubt, I always look up, and they are the one which give me knowledge. If I have to be a perfect, I have to become like a divine nature, and that is Aham Brahmasmi, and that's also Tret Vidya by and large. Me, my Antaratma, and the Brahman put together as one, they work with the conscientiousness. Only that is Akhand Yoga, only that is Karma Yoga, only that is Jnana Yoga, the only that is Vigyan Yoga, only Pragyan Yoga, Akhandata otherwise. Only with that conscientiousness we can be a perfect people. Otherwise, we would be only bonded with materialism and suffer in the process. You do not get the moksha by and large. If you want to get freedom from all the constraints of day-to-day life, you got to have perfect thoughts, dharma, perfect action, karma, and also perform, and then only you get liberated. Without that is not possible. Having said that, is enough for the day. Thank you very much.